Good evening. Get the mic.
Turn on first. Good evening. Just before we proceed with our board meeting for the month, I'd like to take just a couple minutes to recognize our board members and thank them for their service.
School district. I guess I'll have to use my teacher voice because the mic is not working. I think there's another one over there maybe, but as long as you think you can hear me, I think we're good. I want to start out by saying that we appreciate you all tremendously. We know that sometimes you get the complaints and not all the hoorays, but I can tell you that the community is very appreciative and very thankful for all the work that you all have done for the school system. And I certainly am appreciative for all of the opportunities that you have created for our school district, for our staff and students here in this district, and I'm very grateful. So, Dr. Smith, thank you very much for your service. Appreciate you, and Ms. Bingham Williams, we appreciate you. Dr. Jason Reeves, specifically, I've got a little message for Dr. Reeves here in just a moment. But joining us via Zoom is also our Vice Chair, Sandy Lundy, and Will Daniels, another member of our Board of Education. So thank you to all of you for all the time that you dedicate to the school system and to the students here at Barbourville. We really appreciate you. Now, I'll try not to get choked up, but I would like to ask Jason to come up, and I'm going to put my mask on because he's going to come up here. If you don't mind, Jason, I have a plaque for you. Tonight is Jason's last board meeting with us as a Barbourville Board of Education member. For those of you know, Jason has been a wonderful asset to our Board of Education, and we're very appreciative for you and the work that you've done. Jason started as a board member in 2017, right after I became a superintendent. And I have enjoyed working with Jason. Jason's a very good educator as well as a board member. As you all know, he has been in charge of the Union College Education Program and is now at the University of Georgetown. And we're very proud of Jason, and we appreciate all the work that you put in. Since these members have been here, we've actually have a new addition. We actually have 3 new school buses and a healthy financial budget. So that is something to say about the work that the board members have done. We're going to miss you, but we know you're going to be back. You're going to come see us and help us out.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn the official meeting over to our chairman, Dr. Ed Smith.
Call meeting to order. Motion to adopt the agenda. Motion to adopt the agenda. I'll second it. Motion made by Williams, second by Reed. All those in favor, let the number say aye.
Aye.
Approved classified salary table for district technology.
Okay, yes, I would like to request, as you know, we have Mr. Deaton, who just recently submitted his paperwork for retirement. Sorry.
We missed actions by consent.
Oh, actions by consent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. For action by consent, we have a motion to approve the actions by consent.
I'll make a motion to approve the actions by consent.
Motion made by Reed, second by Williams. All those in favor, let the number say aye.
Aye.
Okay, what this request is to ask for us as we look to review the district technology coordinator position. The salary table, what I would like to ask the board to do is to add 5 additional days to the existing salary table as you all have it designed. That gives us an extra week, particularly with us going to all virtual at this point in time. There's a lot of things that have to be troubleshooted even on the weekends, and especially when we start collecting at the end of the school year and gathering our devices and all of our boxes and things. It's going to take a few more days. So I'm asking the board to allow me to make that position a 210-day position.
the motion to approve the classified salary table for the district technology coordinator with the additional days.
Made by Reeves, second by Williams. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Take action to create an instructional assistant position.
Okay, this is a request to, actually, we have a vacant position that we haven't filled, but I didn't want to do that without, let's start it new. We have a student who needs an additional assistance according to an IEP, so this would be an instructional assistant that would be assigned to the classrooms in which that student would be in to assist with that student and any other student that would need assistance as well, and that is in the student's IEP. So I just ask that we go ahead and create that position, meeting that description.
I'll make a motion that we create the position for the instructional assistant.
I'll second.
Motion made by Williams, second by Reeves. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, administrative updates. Mr. Middleton.
Okay, of course, we discontinued our virtual, learning, so the last meeting, we had used, Wednesdays, for a power up session where we had students, if they needed to come in individually, they could come in individually, work with, teachers. But we also use those days as contact days where students are contacted by teachers. They can contact the parent of the students, to do a progress report or this is what they work on, this is what they're not doing, this is what they're doing well. And so we used, Wednesdays for power updates and do that, so that's what we're doing well. As far as the, semester goes, the semester's going to end, this Friday, as far as our calendar wise goes, semester. The second semester started when we come back. On the sports side of things, we had a, okay, from the KSSAA, we had a meeting on the 10th, board control meeting, they went ahead and upheld their original plan to start, sports practices, sports back at the 14th. So we started back with our, boys and girls basketball, our swimming, our wrestling, cheerleading, and dance, started back up on the 14th. So that being said, all the games that were originally set to begin November 23rd has now moved to January 4th and later. So we will start, our basketball games will start on January the 4th, the away games, and our first home game will be the 5th. And that's a boys game on January the 11th. Girls are playing all day tournament here in Slim Camp. I think they have actually have a game on maybe January the 8th at home as well. Our first wrestling, competition will also be on Saturday, January the 9th, next Saturday, which will be a great match. We will, have been, I work closely with, not Central's coaches, these coaches of the program. We are going to be able to bring the mats over and have at least one, 3-team tournament, 4-team tournament over here in our place. So, that's something we want to do, for our services participating in that. Other than that, we're basically.
Here.
The day after the last board meeting, I got the bus order that was approved that meeting. My salesman said that that should go as normal, should have that bus in April, May. The participation rate is still in the 90s, it's running about 99%.
Right now, we're working on a lot of things, a lot of projects. We've got a lot of projects on campus, and we just kind of have to push it back every year because we run out of time. Right now, that's what we're working on as far as building the grounds go. It's, everything's ready to go. So we're ready for students. Cafeteria is doing good. I mean, we got to commend those cooks and our Mrs. Collins, they're working, every Monday we send over 300 meals out to feed the community. And, you know, at this time, it really makes a difference. So, hopefully, hopefully we'll get back to regular routine when we get the kids here, when we can kind of check on, doing a home, dropping a food box off, that's all right, but it's a little different when they're here, and we can kind of have them for 5 or 6 hours a day. So as far as that, I think everybody's full, for they're ready for the kids to walk back in their door.
Looking ahead for next semester is kind of what we're doing right now, and I-ready testing. We're gonna hopefully do that when we start back. I wanna do that with them in seats instead of out. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. ACT testing will be March 9th, the paper and pencil. And then K-Prep, we're still, in line for doing K-Prep testing as well. And that's gonna be all on computer. So as Ms. Dixon said, our new technology person will be working on getting those devices back. So we're hoping that they can get those back because Ms. Chafin said those all have to be cleared off and different keyboards and everything has to be done to them to prepare for K-Prep testing. So, and I'd like for the students to be able to use those before K-Prep testing for some testing readiness as well. So that's it.
On Monday, we pushed out another survey to parents on their opinions on the mode of learning. The question was, if school is allowed to resume in the red, would you want your child to attend 5 days a week? And we had 63 families that responded that they would be willing to do that. The second question, if the school is in the red, would you prefer the hybrid schedule of the blue-white that we've been doing in the past? 22 families responded yes to that. And then would you want your child to continue on an all virtual schedule? And 29 families chose that. But we already have 110 that had already chosen fully virtual. So we just wanted to kind of get an opinion of what the people in the community were thinking, because those regulations obviously are changing a little bit.
Of course, this is annual tree season, so we have been blessed beyond measure to be able to service over 80 kids with thousands of gifts. Thousands. The hallways have been full. I can't thank staff enough. We've had everybody pitch in, parents. We've had the janitors. We've had our instructional assistants. So another blessing. Hopefully we'll finish delivering those tomorrow. If not, I'll deliver those next week. Lots of monetary gifts as well. So we've been able to shop for kids. Also, the closet that we talked about for our formals, lots of our instructional assistants worked really hard over the last few weeks. It is finished. It's beautiful. We have thousands of dresses for our kids. And also things for our boys to check out and have for formals if we ever get to have those. So that is finished. We also got a Berea private funded grant, which is allowing us to purchase more Wi-Fi boxes, some math workbooks, and it also left us with some extra funding of almost $2,000 to do food, hygiene products, help with utilities. So we have that money to add on to what we already have to spend that's been donated to us. So we are truly blessed this holiday. Well, I do. My update is a discussion about returning to school. As you all know, it is a recommendation that we not return in a seat until January the 11th. So the plan for us is to follow through with that, is to begin on January the 4th with virtual again for that week. That allows our students that 14-day period after the holidays to be able to have that time before they actually come back. And then on January the 11th, we'll begin on our hybrid model as we have in the past. The one decision that we haven't really made, and I would really like to hear from you all, because you have children that work in this process, in this plan that we're doing, is we haven't decided, we were firmly against the break in regards to doing 2 days, off a day, and then 2 days in the beginning. But we really felt like it was time a couple weeks ago to put those in and do those power-up sessions, so we did that on Wednesday. But if we return on January the 11th with our hybrid schedule, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every other Friday. So what are your feelings about what you feel would be best, or what you're hearing from our parents? Should we take one of those days and utilize as power-up days and communication days? Or since we're getting back to a more, I'm going to say more normal, because as you know, we can go in the red as long as we are meeting those, what are now not recommendations, but requirements, the return to healthy to school. Which we did. We did those to the letter from the beginning, and we're not having to make any changes because our kids were grouped in a classroom 6 feet apart. That wasn't an issue for us. So we can continue as we were on our blue-white schedule and do the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, every other Friday, the blue-white group. Or we can do that and change the days a little bit and do a power-up day. So what are your thoughts about doing those kinds of things? We did find that there were some great things that got to happen. We got to bring in some kids who really needed to come in. Others that needed to did not show up on those days, just to be real honest with you. We also have had an issue where teachers were assigning additional work because they felt like the kids shouldn't have work on Wednesday. So we had to kind of talk about that a little bit because it was a catch-up time. But they're like me, they're real concerned about losing instructional time. And if you take 1 day a week out where the majority of your kids are not coming in and are not online, that's what you're talking about, is losing an entire instructional day every week for a mass number of your kids, because you can only bring in a very low capacity number into your building. So, I'm just interested in what your thoughts are, because that is something that's kind of up in the air and we're just unsure. That's why one of the reasons we started the survey, to see how people would feel. But I don't feel like we have enough families that have responded to that at this point for it to truly be valid. As you know, when we did our 2 in the past, we actually contacted every single family that hadn't submitted, and we made sure to get a number that would give us a valid answer. So even though we've made an attempt and they've done a great job with trying to get out there to those parents, I don't feel like we have enough that have responded to really have a valid answer to that survey yet. So your thinking behind that? Do you feel like we should take one of those days, or once we start back, we should start back with that regular schedule and routine that we've had for the blue-white? Benita, what are you thinking about that? Because I really feel like if we're allowed to go in the red and we do the hybrid to the letter, like, we've been doing that from the beginning, that we can continually come to school, so that we can get into that routine of blue and white and every other Friday if we needed to. And since the kids are going to be here every other day, I think it's kind of easier for them to catch up and stay caught up. But we're open to parent suggestions, and I know you probably had some people tell you how they were feeling about it. So what's your thoughts?
From speaking to a lot of people with children in the lower grade and even some in the high school level, they really appreciated having that extra day a week to reach out for assistance when students need it, or for them just to catch up and review what they have learned, that students have time to go back and look and digest it better. I hadn't really thought about it with the hybrid. The hybrid worked really, really well because the kids got to see the teacher and discuss things.
See, that was kind of my thinking. Once we come back, we know that we're going to be back in the hybrid model, and the teachers do have those kids in every other day so they can remind them of what they're lacking or what they need to work on more. Whereas that was not possible when they were all virtual, and it really became complicated. So you know, I'm really torn between it because, I see the loss of a day a week for a majority of your kids, because you can only bring in 4 or 5 kids at a time. And I see that as being something, if it was prolonged, that would be a lot of lost instructional time for kids. But I also know that this is a very unprecedented time, and it's been very difficult for the kids having to be at home and do virtual learning. So,
Now, how many do you feel like would say 100% virtual?
well, I thought that we would have a problem, because we would have so many kids that would want to come back to school. That's why I say I don't think those numbers are valid, because I think we will have many more than that. I'm very surprised. So we're gonna have to just keep pushing that out there. It's on our webpage, it's on our Facebook page, but we'll all keep sharing it and trying to remind more parents to come through there. But I would say, I'm just gonna be real honest, our high school and middle school kids, I see a lot of those remaining virtual. I don't see a lot of those that kind of got into a routine. I might say even a bad habit of, with the virtual, but, I'm not 100% sure. But I think that Mr. Carey, Mr. Middleton, Mr. Messer, do you agree that the middle and high will probably, those percentages will be high?
Yeah, I think
If we allow that virtual crew to come back, that's gonna mess with our numbers like we have on the blue and white. But we could probably take a few back. I don't expect. I don't expect we need to come back. We got 181. Believe it's the number.
I think,
181's a lot.
I think a lot of it, some of our hybrid stay virtual too.
How are they progressing, and how is their learning? Do you feel like it's stable, or are they making improvement? Do you feel like they are completing
On the virtual.
the ones
I'd
that
say
are?
it's probably mixed.
Okay.
It's kind of like it is in the classroom, Benita. We still struggle with those kids that we would be struggling with in a seat to do the assignments and get the things turned in on time. And they're still the ones that we're struggling with virtually. Although we do have some slackers, for some of our students listening, we have some slackers out there that are not doing as well as they should be, because they're not getting on and doing their assignments like they're supposed to be. So, you know, we all agree that it's better for students to be in a classroom with the teacher, not only with the teacher, but because they learn so much from the discussion of the other students in the classroom. That's where a lot of learning takes place. But we will still, as we said from the beginning, allow kids that feel more comfortable sticking with virtual to continue to do that. But we are, that week of January the 4th, the administrative staff will have to work very hard to try to get a sense of, do we have a lot of those 180 kids that are complete virtual that want to come back into a hybrid method, and how many of those can we take in each particular classroom? Because we're not going to know that. If we have a lot of them that want to come back, then we're going to have to look at maybe a little different rotation in our students.
I feel like the teachers making the connection with them in the hybrid model makes a big difference. I feel like that makes a huge difference.
I think so, and like I said, it's great. Power-up sessions are great when you know extendedly that you're going to be on all virtual, but when they can be in a seat with the teacher to remind them, hey, look, you didn't get on yesterday, or you didn't finish your assignment yesterday, and you've got that piece in place, and that kind of takes that away. And we can only bring in a very small number. I think we had 4 or 5 kids per class that we brought in. Actually, so then you've got, 80% of your kids not doing anything that day because they're not in those power-up sessions. So if unless you have objections, then we will just try to do the hybrid model without putting in another day for power-up sessions. And we can still do things like if you're a Tuesday, Thursday student, but you are not doing well, and we have room for you on Monday and Wednesday, you might be called in for a couple of weeks, 4 days a week or whatever, until you get caught up. So we can still have flexibility to do those things with students that we need to do that with. Mr. Carey, did you have?
I will say, we didn't have many come in. 4 or 5 in the classroom. They saved those 4 or 5 in the classroom from Bell in high school classes. I know in high school, probably on middle school.
But once they showed up, they had,
Yes. So, and I think if we were going to be virtual for an extended period of time, that would be something we would automatically go back to, was doing those power-up sessions, because it did serve its purpose for those kids. And so as long as we return back and we are allowed to go to school on a hybrid method, then we will not do a power-up session, having a designated day. But if we should have to go virtual for, you know, if we get an order that says we're just too high, you cannot go to school, then we will go back to looking at that day as a power-up day, when they have to be at home all the time. I think that was very beneficial and very timely for those kids. That saved some of them. But they'll have the teachers to nudge them along the way by being here. I think that'll help. And basically, that is all I have. I know that you all probably know by listening to the governor's address, and then the commissioner has a live stream webinar that school staff is in the early rounds for the vaccination possibility. So we are working with both the governor's office and CDC to do rosters for our employees that choose to take the vaccine. We have to have those rosters turned in by the 30th of December. Anyone who chooses to do so will of course be in that first round. But should you decide that maybe it's something that you don't want to do, then you're dropped back into the general population and you can't change your mind after that December 30th. You'll have to wait and go through that process if you're a school employee. Tim may know more than I know, but it's my understanding that there's going to be a new executive order coming, and I may have even missed it if it came today because I didn't have a chance to look today. But it's going to address, if we choose as educators not to take the vaccine, what does that mean for us if we do get sick? It's my understanding that if the choice is given and we don't take the vaccine, then we would, of course, be able to use our own sick days if we were sick or something to that effect. But we don't know the specifics on exactly how that's going to roll out. At this point in time, there's no additional, what we've been referring to as COVID days that are out there for our staff. So as soon as I have something in more detail, and it should be very soon, I understand, I want to get that out to our staff so that they will know all of their options and what it's going to look like to make their choice in a very educated manner. So there's a lot of data out there. We want to give them the information that we have and what we know to be factual, and we don't really have that yet. So we're waiting. We have a large number that have signed up, but we do have several that have chosen not to take the vaccine at this point in time, and we'll get that information to them in regards to what that would mean for them should they be exposed and be quarantined, or should they actually contract COVID, and how that would affect their work and their leave. So we'll do that hopefully before we have to turn our rosters in on the 30th. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Welcome to the job.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.